Hey, this Mount Goes 556. Okay, check it out. I haven't made a video in a while. Just life, happens and stuff like that. So I did get to go camping over the weekend. So we got up there and it was a little chilly in elevation. There was no chance of rain, some wind. But so I set up my rapid setup shelter, which consists of a GI poncho and an eagle's nest, double nest hammock. And there was no reason for me to set it up with a poncho over the top of it. I could just use the hammock. But with everything, you need to get out and use your gear. You need to train with it. You need to put it through its paces. You need to find out its flaws. So I set the shelter up, try to do it as quick as I possibly could. I'm driving my stake in to run my guy line. Now, this is a flaw that I'm glad that I found out then and not when I really needed that shelter for an emergency purpose. And this was it. These are the Colgan tent stakes. I have no problem with this tent stake other than what just happened. I've used them a lot and this has never happened. This just happened. Like I said, I'm glad it happened during training or just some simple camping trip than when my life depended on it. What happened is I wasn't paying attention, and in a survival situation or any situation where your adrenaline's going, there's a little bit of fear, or you're in a time crunch, paying attention sometimes you don't do it, which I suggest you try, and that's why you train with your gear under all conditions. I wound up bending this right here, where this is the area where the rope catch is, where you put your slip knot on and you tie it in there. This bent. Now, is this a big deal? Well, it depends on the situation you're in. If you're in I need to get out of the rain immediately, I might start freezing to death, and there's a storm coming or there's a storm ongoing, and you bend this, well, this is meant to be struck vertically, okay? This bent this way, I can no longer push the force of the strike into it to drive it into the ground. So if you're about this far into the ground, and you need to go about this far, you're going to have to smash this completely down. Now, how I remedied that was, it takes about 6 tent pegs to set up my shelter. I carry 7 to 8 of them. Always carry extras. 1 is none, 2 is 1. That's why you carry extras. Well, I just switched this out and used it as a spike in my Marlin spike hitch to do my ridge line. So, is this salvageable? This definitely is. This will be a permanent. I'm going to put some tape or something on here. Mark this as a permanent spike for my ridge line. But I can still use this as a tent peg. I can just do what I'm going to show you I did. I'm just going to cut this top off right there. And as you see, I tried to drill a hole in there, but my drill slipped and damped. So this is probably just going to be used as the spike for my Marlin spike hitch. So what I did was, instead of throwing these things out at 88 cents a piece, which doesn't sound a lot, it is when you've got to throw out 8 of them. Basically just cut the head off, file it down, drilled a hole, took some number 36 bank line and put it in there. Now, off topic, this number 36 bank line is worth its weight in gold. I have replaced, other than my ridge line and about 25 feet or 15 feet of paracord, I've replaced all my lashing cordage, all my utility cordage and stuff like that with number 36 bank line. It's tarred. This is the braided, not the twisted. There's a lot of videos out there about this stuff. One of the best channels you could go to for learning about this stuff, this bank line and its uses, is go to Corporals Corner. He'll set you up, and he's got some really cool stuff. That's where I learned my rapid setup for my shelter. Now, these are aluminum. These aren't titanium. Now, not everybody has enough money to go out and buy titanium this, titanium that. It just doesn't happen. Are there more superior tent pegs out there? Yes, there are. But that right there is a flaw I found that I did not want to have. It's not acceptable. This bends, and I only have carried 6 with me. I'm down to 5. I need to, guess what I got to do? I got to go out the elements, find some sticks, find something suitable, carve it up. That's not a rapid setup. That is not a rapid setup. I don't care. Well, I can carve. I can just use my beaver teeth and make a tent peg. Well, okay, that's fine. That's not the point of a rapid setup, is to immediately have everything on hand to put it up rapidly to get you out of the elements. Beaver teeth aside. So that's why no matter what it is, you've got to get out there and train with your equipment. You've got to learn it. You got to see what kind of flaws are coming up, and then you got to work those flaws out. It goes with anything, whether it's your storage of food, rotating it and cooking with it to come up with different recipes, whether it's going out there and setting up your tent, your shelter, your hammock, or taking out your weapon of choice and training with it. You've got to use your gear. You can't just let it sit. That's one of the things that people do, and then they get out there and they start seeing all their gear's flawed. I'm glad that this happened in a non-emergency, you know. And no, I didn't have any beers before I set up my shelter, so if you're thinking I was drunk and did that, no, that's not the case. So that's the thing you got to do, work out your flaws in your gear. And then when you find those flaws, fix them, or make sure you can replace something more superior to end that flaw. Like, I'm not getting rid of these. I'm still keeping these. These are perfectly fine tent stakes. But once you see this flaw, try to fix it, you know. I just saw that off. You know, that's what I cannot impress that upon you more. You got to familiarize yourself with your equipment. You got to train with it. Just don't let it sit in the closet. You know, a lot of people with their bug out, bug in, bug around town, you know, bags, they sit there, I never touch it. Well, you don't know what's going to be wrong with it until you use it. That's why I don't call my backpack a bug out bag or a get home bag. I call it my backpack with my stuff in it. Because I train with it, I use it, I know what I can do with it, I know what I can't do with it. So it's a little longer than I wanted to go over a bent tent peg, but that's my point. I've never had this happen, but now I know it can, so I modified them to do that. Okay, this mountain goes 5x6 out. Thanks for watching.